Damn it, Elon.
Oh, I guess we're just doing it live. We're doing it now.
Oh wow, we are doing it now.
Yeah.
Do it.
I'm sorry, guys. No theme music for you today.
No soup for you.
Welcome to the AvengeHers Initiative podcast. I am your host today, Britney Monae, and with me as always, my amazing co-host, Miss Jenny.
Hey, Britt, how you doing?
I'm good. It's been a couple weeks. This is like I can't
Look
believe
at
we're
us.
back so fast.
We're doing good. I'm very proud of us.
know. And then, of course, always with us is Nate Milton, aka Brother Nate.
First things first, I just want to say Happy International Women's Day. And I want to say F you, Elon Musk, because here's a little bit of the back. I mean, F you, Elon Musk, always. Like, there should not have been any qualifiers. But here's what happened, Cap. So we are streaming right now. We are live on Facebook and we are live on our YouTube. So shout out to everybody watching. But I put Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter or X. Mm-hmm. And right when I'm hitting the intro, right when I'm hitting go live, I get a notification. X no longer supports free streaming if you don't have the subscription. No. And I'm not paying you, Elon Musk, for a Twitter subscription, just so the video can be on Twitter. So Facebook and YouTube it is from now on.
Let's go.
All right. Well, whoever's with us, glad that you are joining us, or whenever you're joining us. So today we are going to talk about Daredevil Born Again, not Deadpool and Daredevil. or Wolverine and Daredevil. I think that's what Nate said. It's just actually Daredevil today.
Why are you bringing up old stuff that may or may not have been in a drunken voicemail, Brittany?
I keep calling it Reborn instead of Born Again. I don't know why.
It's like Heroes Reborn?
Yeah, I don't know.
Which was a bad show. I missed the first season and a half of Heroes. Yes, this is a good show, Jenny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But basically a rundown of the show is we're going to give our overall thoughts, probably production of this versus the original show, and then any maybe predictions and whatnot going forward. We are discussing the first 4 episodes. If you have not seen the first 4 episodes, because I can't guarantee we will talk about them in chronological order depending on what we're saying. So if you don't want to be spoiled, pause, go watch Daredevil, and then find this podcast again when you are okay with being spoiled, because
there you go.
Yeah. Just putting that right out the bat. We're probably going to be spoiling it.
Yes, we are going to spoil it.
Major
let's
spoilers.
not bury the league. Yes, major spoilers, Jennifer Smith. So yeah, if you haven't watched the episode, here's the thing though. I feel like some shows they need to be spoiler proof, Jenny. Mm-hmm. But there's some shows, even if you spoil it, you can't ruin the show because it's just that good.
Mm-hmm. Still gonna watch it.
Yeah, this may be one of those.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So, what are your guys' thoughts? Let's start with you, Jenny.
Okay. So, number one, I was super impressed by how seamless this production felt to, which I know we'll talk about later, but number one, my overall thought was it seems like they just picked up right where we left off. And we get to see all of our favorite characters again. One just briefly. In a very sad moment very early in the show. But overall, I think that the action sequences are living up to what I expect in a Daredevil sequence, as is the acting. I think Charlie Cox is amazing. I love him in this role. And we get some new characters. We get fairly intricate plot 4 episodes in when you consider everything we have going on between Fisk, Daredevil being gone for a while now. He's not actively being a vigilante, and working at a new law firm, having a big case. And so there's a lot of lawyering happening in this. Mm-hmm. In this first 4 that I kind of didn't expect, but I'm really happy about, because I I like that part of his character. And he's pulled back from Daredevil so much that he's immersed himself in his work life now. And all that really comes across. So whenever he does start ramping back up, it's a big deal. You feel it. It's earned at this point.
Mhm.
Some negatives. I don't like his girlfriend. I just miss me with her. Not impressed. The whole Fisk thing. Now, I think it's very well acted. I like the story, but it is just way too close to like real life stuff for me. Like much like the Cap stuff. And it just I wish we could just kind of like, it's a good story. I wish we just weren't telling it right now. I don't know. I don't. I find myself waiting for all of those scenes to be over with. I don't want to think about him being mayor. I don't want to think about all of that. I want to think about fights and Frank Castle. And, just, I'm kind of over the Fisk part of it, even though, he's great. And Vanessa also over her, kind of just done with Vanessa. He should just have her killed at this point. So, overall, that's what I got.
Okay. Nate, I'll let you go.
First of all, shout out to Jenny for ordering one large refrigerator for one Vanessa Fisk on these streets.
Yeah,
I'll start with Jenny's last point first. In terms of like the real life parallels, I will say both former President Ross and current Mayor Fisk, both better than the real life counterpart.
Yes.
in so many ways.
True.
But yeah, I get it. Like a lot of these MCU shows and films are escapism.
Yes.
And it's hard to escape when art mirrors life and vice versa. That being said, D'Onofrio was killing it. Like D'Onofrio is, like I told Brittany, I think it was after episode 2. Brittany and I, as well as a lot of people here at Nefarious, are blessed. Is the word I would use, by voice messages that I leave them during my workday, because it's better than actually thinking about work. And we were talking about the first couple episodes of Daredevil, and just like that scene in the diner with Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio still is one of my favorite scenes in the first 4 episodes, because it's just two powerful actors that are in tune with their characters.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like the thing I was afraid of. Well, there were 2 things I were afraid of, and I'm glad that both of them seem to have been unfounded fears, Brittany. Number one was this was originally supposed to be an 18-episode first season. And I thought, that's a little too much, because even back in the Netflix days, like all those 13 episodes, and we could be real now. I love Daredevil. I love Jessica Jones. I love Luke Cage. I liked The Defenders. The less said about Iron Fist, the better. But 13 episodes, even on those shows, which I liked, were too long at a lot of times. Like there were at least 1 or 2 episodes that kind of dragged. So the fact that they cut it to just 9 for the first season, I think is a good thing. And then the other worry I had was the tone. Being on Disney Plus versus Netflix. And to Jenny's point, like we seeing people get murked on these streets. We seeing people like bones coming out of skin. Like, there's a lot of violence, and it's not violence for the sake of violence, which is another way I think they could have gone like, oh, we'll show you, we can be edgy. And it's not that. So I've really enjoyed it. I think I like it as much. I won't say more because it's too soon to say more, but I like it as much as the OG Daredevil on Netflix, because it's still got that tone, but it certainly also feels a part of this larger MCU that we've been watching. It doesn't feel alien. It doesn't feel weird. So yeah, I've really enjoyed the first 4 episodes, Britt.
Yeah, I did too. And I will say, like, the first season on Netflix, they did try to put that as part of the MCU, because obviously they keep referring to the incident, and that's why Matt's apartment was cheaper. And then there's this horrible billboard too, because or whatever, that makes it even cheaper. So they do reference the MCU, but then I think when it progressed into season 2, I feel like when there was a divergence from trying to reference stuff that's going on in the films and things like that. But yeah, this does definitely feel more at home in the MCU. Um, I think that the violence is tasteful and it's not overdone, as tasteful as violence can be, I guess you could say. Um, but yeah, I know I do agree that the plot with the Fisk hits too much to home, and people would like to escape, but then also like a part of me is like, well, some people don't get to escape the
That's true.
realities that they live in.
Facts.
So I don't know. But it is good. I am very excited for more Frank Castle. I will say that for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know how the show would have done with like an 18 episode order so far, but I do think that sometimes the problem with some of the MCU shows now on Disney Plus is that like they rush the ending to fit in like 8 episodes. So I'm now worried of like, I hope it's not a rush ending, because so far it's starting off really strong and I'm really liking it. Yeah, I agree that the girlfriend
real quick, Cap.
yeah.
Before you switch to your next topic, because I want to touch on that, and I wonder if you have any insight as somebody who has been in this world of acting, in terms of these episodes. Because I always thought the Netflix episodes were too long and the Disney Plus series orders were too short. Is there a reason why they don't just fit the episodes to the story they have to tell, or is it like we need 7 episodes for a certain reason, or we need 13 episodes for a certain reason?
It honestly depends on like the showrunner and then like the executives above the showrunner, what they're like wanting to. So if like the showrunner's like, hey, I can tell my story that I want to in say 10 episodes, but then like the guys above them are like, no, we want 13 episodes. You're giving us 13 episodes. Then it's like, then they got to rework like, okay, let's move these story plots down here. Let's move this. And then that's when it, becomes like that.
Then we get that boring ass Luke Cage episode in season 1 where they went to the farm. It's like, why?
Oh my God. Yes.
Like, why?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Cause you got to drag stuff out. So I think that's where it comes into play of like, what the showrunner is saying versus like sometimes what the executives want. And then they could also be in the middle of filming stuff and then realizing, like they did with this one, I think we're going in the wrong direction. This needs to rework and change, because sometimes you can write a script that's great and you read it and you're like, yeah, this is amazing. And then in terms of filming, sometimes whatever reason, it's not translating. So then you have to like, rework it and make it better and suit for like what tone you're going for. Yeah, I think so far they're doing a great job. I don't know, but I feel like that's usually why there's like a trying to make sure it's fitting a certain storyline versus what higher up people want, because again, it is a business. So some executives do treat it too much like a business, and they're like, hey, we want to make sure you like product placements, or like, hey, I remember hearing about this storyline from like the Daredevil comics. You better do that one, even if they don't actually know. Like they don't actually know the storyline. They didn't read it, so they only know like a small version of it. They're like, you got to do that thing because that thing's supposed to be cool, Right. So then you have like someone who might be like, well, that doesn't fit in with the story I'm trying to tell. So then it's like you got to do that too. So it just depends on how much higher ups are like telling the showrunners, and then the showrunners telling the writers what they kind of expect. So it's a lot.
Wow.
But yeah, what were we talking? I was saying with
you talking about the girlfriend.
Yes, I agree. I think I like the actress though, but I just feel like her character, like I don't trust her, and maybe that's because like,
and she feels very boring to me. Like,
okay,
I feel that Matt has a little freakier side. I don't know.
Yes.
Like, I think he likes.
Okay, Jenny. I think we on the same page here. I think we matching freaks here. Do you think Matt would be a better fit if we're just using the characters that we've seen on the show so far? I like the Latvian lady.
I did too.
They were flirting. I was like,
they were flirting.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to see.
They had way more chemistry.
They sure did.
Girlfriend.
However, I remember there was a certain show where there was a character who they were not supposed to be romantic, and there was like chemistry between the actors.
Mhm.
And I'm like, why aren't these two together? Why are they pushing this other ship? And it doesn't make sense, or this
Mhm.
relationship, you know? And then those characters actually got together, and then that became the whole show. And I was like, oh, this show sucks now. So,
True.
so it's like, be careful what you wish for type of thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
well,
I'm just
we probably need disposable characters in this series, and she
Yeah.
can just definitely be one. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I'm just hoping that, like, let's say if they hear everyone saying like, "Hey, him and that girl have better chemistry. Why aren't they a thing?" I just don't want it to turn in the route of the other show where then you're like, "Ugh,
Yeah.
why did I ask this?"
I was gonna say something about that, but also her being kind of shoehorned in as Fisk's
Therapist.
and Vanessa's
Right.
therapist is just like a little bit what? I don't know.
Do you think
Feels
they're setting
weird.
her up, as Brittany kind of alluded to, like to be a sacrifice? Like,
It
is she gonna
does kind of
make it out of
feel
season
like
one?
it doesn't
Potentially.
look like it to me.
Because she is actually on the Acolyte. If you watch the Acolyte, and
Okay.
I'm not sure if she died or not. Her character, it's kind of left.
Oh.
She was one of the Force Switches. I can't remember what their actual name was,
Okay.
but she was the one with like the horns and stuff on her. So she kind of like, I don't know if she died or not. They didn't really like make that clear. So I don't know if she's someone who comes into shows and they're like, hey, we're giving you this cool role, but you're gonna die. You know, like I don't know.
You got a beautiful face for a corpse, lady. We got a role for you.
So like I don't know if that's her thing. Like, you know, what's his name? Sean Bean. Like I don't know if that's her her thing.
Speaking of Are They Dead? What do we think about Foggy?
I don't think so, because why would you announce that he's in season 2?
I mean, it could be
did they?
flashbacks.
It could be yes.
Oh yeah.
They announced.
Yeah, they
he's
have
gonna
announced
be in,
that.
They
Okay.
announced it. They're like, oh hey, they're like Deborah Allen Wool and I can't remember the guy who plays Foggy's name. They're like, they're coming back for season 2.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but and it was worded in a way where you're like, so Foggy's not dead.
Right.
Mhm.
So I don't know, because I don't think it said like for a guest role. It made it sound like he's coming back, like he's gonna be on the show.
I don't know how he wouldn't be dead, but it's comics, so
It is.
I'm sure there's a way.
Let's
Doctor
talk about
Strange.
that though. Let's talk about that for a second, because we weren't even 10 minutes into episode 1, if that.
It was
And
quick.
Fog took my boy out like in broad daylight in the middle of the street, and I was not expecting that, Britney Monae.
No, I wasn't either. But before we talk about what happened to Foggy, hi Ray Williams. I see your comment.
Oh, two-way Ray is in the building.
Yeah.
Ray, if you got time to comment, you got time to produce, Ray. Get on the clock, Ray. Riding around in the company Lexus, heading to brothels.
Hey, I didn't know he had a Lexus.
It's a leased Lexus. We share ownership with Post Wrestling.
Oh, okay.
They pay 90%. We pay 10%.
That's a good deal.
Love that for you.
What's up, Ray? I wonder if Ray's seen Daredevil.
I don't know. I'm assuming since he's watching us.
Yeah, we're about to spoil everything on these first 4 episodes, Ray. But what do you think, Jenny, when they killed Foggy in episode 1? Ray, Foggy Nelson is dead.
I was very disappointed.
What did you think?
I cried.
I cried. Of course I cried. I love him. He's so cute. There's just something about him. So
Yes.
I don't typically like a wholesome character, but there's something about him that I'm like, I really like.
Matt said it in at the end of episode 4 when he's talking with Frank, like there was a decency
He is
about
just a
Foggy.
decent-
And
yeah.
it's like as much as we love Matt, like we know Matt is somebody who struggles particularly with like the Catholic guilt and just right and wrong. And Foggy was somebody who didn't have powers and was just a good dude. And it's such a waste, like not in terms of the story, because it's a meaningful death for the story, but in Matt's world, like it's a senseless death of a dude that was doing a lot of good.
Yeah, because even he was like, I think, pushing certain things sometimes more than like Matt was when they kind of flash back on the original show to like their early days in Lawyers. And it always felt like, you know, not that Matt isn't good, but yeah, like Foggy was just like ultra.
His compass.
Yes, his compass was always
Yeah.
pointing where it should
Jiminy
be.
Cricket.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like the deaths seem pretty final. And then what's her face leaves Karen.
Yeah.
And so that's disappointing because I love her in this show. I love her chemistry with Matt. Like to me,
I prefer her chemistry with Frank.
Frank. Yeah, that is pretty
Okay.
hot too. Well, everybody has chemistry with Frank.
That's true.
But I really liked them together in scenes. So we got a really good one in that first episode in the bar.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of disappointed that she left after that. But maybe she'll be back in the back half.
Well, she's at least back for season 2 because they announced it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think the fact that it's 9 episodes, I think we may get her at the very end of the 9, but
so too.
I think there's a lot less room to play with than they had when it was 18. So I think it's going to be very focused on Matt and Fisk because those are the 2 parallel stories that they're telling. And I liked how through the course of these 4 episodes, like we only got one scene of Daredevil, like like in the costume this whole time. And then you see like Fisk and that scene at the diner with Fisk and Murdoch, and it's like we ain't doing this stuff no more. We both turned a new leaf, but you slowly see them both slipping back into their old roles, kind of on these 2 parallel paths.
True, very true.
And I feel like we cannot forget to shout this actor out. Michael Gandolfini, who is James Gandolfini's son. He is really good. He's really good. I didn't see the Sopranos movie because I still haven't actually finished Sopranos.
Daniel, yeah.
Is his name Daniel? He's the assistant
AKA Steve Bannon Jr. on these streets. Like again, bringing it very close to home.
I don't know. He, for some reason, I think he's the Penguin's son instead of James Gandolfini's son. And I don't know, the wires get crossed in my head because I don't know, Colin Farrell just is James Gandolfini to me now. I don't know. Anyway, but he just kept reminding me of Colin Farrell as Penguin.
I can see that.
And but yeah, he, even though he fucks up pretty hard early into his career in the mayor's office, his dick ratting saves the day in his job. Very interesting and telling scene between the 2 of them.
Yes,
like I'm gonna be your
that
guy,
man like a Krispy Kreme donut.
Absolutely does.
He's replacing what was that guy's name from season 1? Was it Wesley?
Yes, I love that guy. I freaking love that guy. So he needs a new Wesley.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was a good scene. Like, so for those that didn't see it, like we've got a couple interesting character interactions and relationships on this show. So this dude Daniel is an intern for the Fisk administration, and he is friends with BB Urich, who is or Ulrich, who is Ben Ulrich's daughter. Ben Ulrich, the reporter that was killed by Fisk in the OG series. And they out here clubbing, partying, doing what young folks do.
She's so cute too.
Yes, she is. I hope she survives through this season.
Me too.
I'm worried for her.
Me too.
He lets it slip like about this big meeting and everything, and then it gets in the papers, and Fisk is like, "Hey, everybody going down for this." And to my man's credit, again, he is a D writer, as Jenny said, but he's a brave D writer. He steps up and takes the blame for himself. And then my girl Sheila, the campaign manager, I'm like, Sheila, what is you doing? Trying to be like, no, it's my responsibility too. Like, Sheila, if you don't sit down, this man gonna kill you.
Right? But I think she was on Power and played the same type of like character arc. I feel like she was on Power. I could be wrong. She looks like someone who was on Power if it's not her. But I feel like she kind of played the same character where she works in the administration type of, well, she's like law enforcement type of character. And she's like one of the people obviously wants to do good and do well and actually like do what you're supposed to do in that role, but obviously is working with people or working in a situation where other people are maybe not doing the right things and, stuff like that. So I think that's kind of her like typecasting if it is the same lady. But yeah, there was something else I was going to bring up. Oh my God. I forgot. Oh
Yeah.
my god, we forgot about White Tiger. That's what
Okay,
it was.
okay,
White
okay.
Tiger, yeah.
Let's get into this man on these streets. Hector Ayala. See, y'all might not know, audience. Britney Monae is a world traveler. She done been to Los Angeles. She done been to Greece. That's the only two places I know she done been to, y'all. But I'm sure there's more. Calabasas probably. But this man from this island of Puerto Rico, where at night, Jenny, you can hear the coquitos, these little tree frogs, and they sing, they're like, and the tourists, they don't like that, but it's beautiful to the Boricuas, man. Like, you know what made me so sad, Brittany? Because Hector Ayala, he's in 2.5 maybe episodes of the first 4, if that. Like, maybe it's just 2 solid episodes in the middle, 2 and 3. But he has such a pivotal role in this series. Like, he's the thing that is his death and Foggy's death, spoiler alert, are the things that are going to drive Matt back into the costume. But Hector just being, again, a decent dude. Who's trying to do the right thing and trying to protect his community because there's no vigilantes and we got Kingpin as a damn mayor, and he's stopping the cops from beating up this kid, and then the cops start trying to rough him up, and then a cop charges him and falls into a speeding train. It's like, how convenient subway train that you just came and killed that man right in this very moment.
That was crazy.
I love that.
The 2 scenes that got me, like, of course, you know, his death scene, but other than that, when he is in the courtroom and the people are telling stories about White Tiger what White Tiger did for the community and why White Tiger was a hero. And then after his death, the scene with his niece, where she meets Matt at the morgue, like, both of those got to me. But what made it even sadder, Brittany, because I didn't know, because I was like, this actor is really, really good. And I'm looking him up and seeing what else he's done. And then it's like, oh, he's dead. He's no longer with us.
Yeah, he passed away from cancer.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was like, I think he filmed his stuff, and he probably filmed everything that they needed him for, I think, and then he passed away. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's so like the final scene.
Chadwick.
Yeah, kind of like mirroring Chadwick, but that's why that scene, Jenny, because it was after the first Hector episode where I looked him up. I'm like, this dude is great. I can't wait to see what else he's in. It's like, oh, he's no longer with us. So at the very end, when Fisk is talking about we don't like vigilantes in episode 3, and you see him suiting up as the White Tiger for one last time, I got a little emotional. I'm like, oh damn,
man,
what's gonna happen to my boy? And then he gets murked, and it's like, oh. And then
that death hits different.
The audacity of Marvel to play the coquitos on the way out. It's like,
I know.
Come on, man.
I was just like, they got me in my feels.
Wow.
He was really good. He was
really good. And I think, it's kind of like reminiscent of Chadwick, where they cast someone who was really well in their role, and they were so good. And now that's it.
Kamar De Los Reyes is his name, Cap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's so good in those 2 episodes. Or even in the scene with him in Matt's scenes with his clients that he's had so far on this season have been so good.
Yes.
And like you were saying, Ginny, like seeing Matt being a lawyer, like it's really refreshing. I know we kind of saw it on the original show, but I feel like since they're kind of leaning into it more now, it's nice to see that. Because I mean, there's still obviously like action stuff going on, but it's really nice to see that. And those scenes are they're well written and well acted, and it's just like they were both so good. I just think that they're really so far like doing really well with the show for the most part.
I think so too. Like all of it, and just the complexity of it, and dived right back into everything. And like 4 episodes in, you have like, so many storylines to talk about and stuff going on. Is the implication that his niece is gonna kind of step into?
She does in the comics. I know a little bit. I don't know too much about the character. I want to say her name is like Ayla or
I think it's like Isla or something along those lines.
Yeah. And then there was I know the Spider-Man cartoon where Drake Bell voiced Spider-Man. They had the character on the show because they were all like in high school together. So I've only seen like more of her character from that when my little brother used to watch that show. but she does eventually take up the mantle of White Tiger herself. And I remember her being pretty cool on that show, the when my little brother was watching it. So I think she'll be fun, and I think the actress, what we see of her, she is great. And I feel like, maybe Matt is gonna mentor someone.
That scene was so good. That scene was so good.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Come on, I'm a kid, but I'm not stupid."
Yeah.
Like, we know what happened to my uncle.
Mm-hmm. And I'm tired of that cop.
Yeah.
Yo, Officer Powell.
Oh my
Officer
God.
Powell.
What a dick. Sucks. Do we think that Bullseye will have anything left to do in this?
He might come back.
Or is he gone?
I think he's got to come back because Matt's got to really beat his ass again.
I think so too. There's unfinished business there, even though he's in jail for life, in prison for life. I think, I don't know, like Matt. I don't know. We'll see how far into Daredevil Matt gets.
Well, not only do we, so it's crazy because we're already setting up a lot of adversaries. So we got Bullseye who's locked up, but these comic villains have a get out of jail free card. We got your man Mayor Fisk, and then we've got is it Muse, Britt?
I think so.
We keep getting flashes of towards the end of these episodes.
I think so.
Mm-hmm. He doing some crazy stuff. He doing some Saw stuff up in there. I don't know much about this character, if it is a character from the comics, or I don't know anything, I should say. So to me, I'm like, right now he's giving like Saw, is it Jigsaw type of vibes. Okay. Like he's giving that type of vibes to me right now, with all that stuff he got going on with people. Dr. Frankenstein, maybe. He's doing some weird stuff. But I'm really interested in them exploring it. I don't even know who's actually playing that role. I don't remember that character being announced. But that's why I don't know if it was a cop who shot Hector or if it was this guy Muse that they hired, or he's actually a cop too.
Ooh,
I don't know.
Could be. I like that.
What if it's Pal? Like you?
If it's Pal, I'm gonna be more mad because I already hate him.
Yeah, true. Me too.
Oh, then he got to die then.
For real. You're experimenting on people now too?
Brittany, you're a talent. I've already mentioned you're a talented actress, both on camera and then with your voice acting. But one thing that I've noticed on this show, Jennifer Smith, nobody in the world, and I think I can make this statement, nobody in the world is a better food actor than Vincent D'Onofrio, because every time this man has to eat in a scene, it's just like the way he cuts his food, the way he eats the food. It's just like that's a skill that a lot of people don't think about when you're an actor.
And he's also good at doing it as Fisk, acting like he's enjoying the food, because he was acting like he loved that Philly cheesesteak.
The cheesesteak, yeah.
And as soon as that guy was out there, he was like, "That was disgusting. Get that away from
sandwich.
Me." Like,
oh my God, I don't know, that sandwich looked good as hell, but
it did, and then he makes it look good, and then for him to be like, "That was disgusting, get it away from me," it was like,
this is the one. I think the eating scene that got me, Jenny, was the last eating scene we see in the 4 episodes when he's got Adam locked up and he's just there chilling with the food. It's just like
he's just chilling, eating, looking at his white painting that he loves so much. Then you can hear Adam like, "Let me go, Mr. Fisk, please.
At least slide me a plate."
Does he have plans for Adam, or is it just I'm locking you up because you fucked my wife?
I don't know.
I don't know. Seems
what's gonna happen when Vanessa finds out, because she will.
Yeah.
Oh, she will. She'll be upset.
Well, she's gonna die too, so
everybody's on borrowed time on this show. Except for Matt and Fisk.
Yeah.
Who else? Frank. Frank looking hot as hell, as he always does, but kind of gruffy. Scruffy. But amazing scene between him and Matt. I don't know. I'm not sure what his emotional state is. It doesn't seem very good. As he is Frank Castle. But he seems to have bunkered down because Matt either like found out where he was or knew this whole time where he was, because he had to do a whole trek through like sewers. And I'm like,
yeah, that was crazy.
Where is he going? And so he has a bunker down there. working on his revenge plan. And weirdly, you got Matt trying to talk him back into
Yes.
kind of a team up. And that's not typically their dynamic. So
No.
And I love how Frank called him on it. He's like, you're not
Yeah.
here asking for help. You're asking for permission. Because
mission.
you really
Yeah.
want to go beat up this dude, but you scared because you all good now. You asking for me to be the instrument of your violence or to give you
Yeah.
permission for the
Mhm.
violence.
He read him real quick.
You
you
sure
know?
did.
Great stuff.
And those
there.
two
But
have
of course,
such good chemistry.
oh, they do. They're amazing. But of
Yeah.
course, we got to get Frank out of the fucking bunker and doing some
Get him
bad.
a shave.
Oh my god, I can't wait. But somebody, using the fact that somebody's using his likeness on the
Mhm.
bullet and stuff like that should be enough to kind of get him going.
Oh, it will, because I definitely think they're gonna hit that storyline from the comics where the Punisher addresses that he does not like his symbol associated with law enforcement and
Mhm.
military, because that is not what he does.
Mhm.
So because a lot of the people, unfortunately, who are crooked and stuff, he would be punishing them. So it's like,
Mhm.
you're
Yep.
not, especially Mr. Powell, like, you're one of the people that he's gonna punish.
Yes.
And he had the little Punisher symbol, I think, on his badge or something too.
Mhm.
So
I didn't catch that.
I think it was him. There was an
Yeah.
officer that I
He
remember
flipped
seeing.
it up or something like that. didn't he?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm
Uh,
just like, you're one of the people Frank would punish.
Yes.
So
I have
And
to
we
ask
have go ahead.
what you guys thought about the scene where Matt finds the bullet casing.
Mm-hmm.
Was that
Are you doubting his detective skills, Jennifer Smith?
a little bit like, yeah, no, a little hand waving had to happen around there because I thought that's a little too
You're
convenient.
doubting that this superhero, Matt Murdock, can hit a bottle with his walking cane, have the bottle roll 20 feet into a gutter, and he hears the bottle clink against the bullet casing. Are you doubting that, Jenny?
Just this much, just a smidge. And he reaches right in there and grabs it.
Yes, like it's not like down there.
Well,
It's like
he
literally
didn't
sitting
even go like this. He just went
he
like
has
this.
his red side or whatever it
the
is.
infrared sight.
Whatever. I don't know.
What is it like? What is it actually like? Because I know what you're talking about. It's like the infrared in the comics, but I think it's it's not
Sonar?
echolocation, sonar, right?
Yeah,
It's kind of like sonar, like echolocation.
Mm-hmm.
So I said bat
the
radar.
sound waves.
That radar. But yeah, I did feel like that was a little convenient. It's like, come on. We know you good, Matt Murdock,
Yeah.
but that was a little easy, dog.
They could have done maybe something else with that. I don't
Well,
know.
he's already struggling without Foggy. They got to give him
That's
some
true.
kind of win.
Oh.
He over here torturing himself and whatnot.
Speaking of torture, I think one of the things I've liked about the first 4 episodes so far is the way they've balanced all of the elements. Like they've caught us up with what these characters are doing since the original series. They've given us the violence. They've given us the courtroom drama. They've given us like heartbreaking moments. But then they've also given us some really funny moments. And I think one of my favorite jokes in the episodes was in episode 4, I believe. So Fisk is doing his mayor thing. So he got to go to the school and act like he loves the kids. And they're singing a very, very, very terrible version of We Built This City on Rock and Roll.
Why?
Is it REO Speedwagon or Jefferson Starship?
Yeah, that's it.
Jefferson Starship. And then when my man, like the kids had another song in the chamber. And he was like, no, that's good, children. And he goes to the Latvian heritage celebration.
And they're singing,
they singing We Built This City in Rock and Roll in Latvia. And I'm like, that's genius. That's genius.
It was awesome. I loved it.
He's not.
His face, he was just totally like, what?
Yes. I thought he was going to blow up in front of the Latvians, but he saved it for the office.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like waiting for him. I'm like, he is losing. When the kids are singing, I'm like, he's losing his goddamn mind right now. Like, you can just see it. Like, oh my god, and that was so good. Oh my gosh.
Another funny thing we talked about it before we turned on the mics tonight was it was funny, but it was also like sad and poignant at the same time. Is the second case we see Matt have with Leroy, who is accused of shoplifting, and he's in jail, and he's had like 11 or 12 incidents before this that have led him to jail, and he's in jail this time for stealing 5 boxes of fiddle faddle, which is great product placement for the fiddle faddle people.
Sure.
And so like he keeps telling Matt, you know, I don't want a plea bargain. I don't want 30 days. I don't want 20 days, whatever. I want probation. I want probation. And that's when Matt talks to the hot lot variant lady and tries to get it down. And he gets it down to a week in jail, which seems like a great deal that this man, Matt Murdock, has acquired. And then he tells Leroy, like, hey, I got you 7 days. And he's just like, nah, man, that ain't gonna work. And he's been joking on Matt's visual impairment the whole time, which is not cool, but it is funny, but it's not cool. But then he kind of goes into like why he wants probation, and it's because of the situation he's kind of been forced into because of the system, and how the system is like he's done some shit to get himself in the system, but the system has done him no favors in terms of food stamps and in terms of the courts and Social Security and all of that stuff. And so he's like, he gets really deep into it. And Matt, who has been dismissing this guy the whole time for justifiably so, but he's just like, yeah, you're right. Like the system sucks.
I was not prepared for that scene. It was like very in depth because much like Matt, I was kind of writing off this guy. I'm like,
yeah, me too. I was like, oh, you have.
I was kind of like, is this meant to show like his prowess as a lawyer? Because that really came across.
Yeah.
And meeting the hot lady who I really liked. And I was like, maybe that's the point of this. And then they go back and he's like, I got you this deal. And I thought this guy's going to be grateful or whatever. And he just totally, and then nails the scene and hits you right in your heart.
Yeah.
And like, holy crap. Another thing to think about on this show. We're very issue heavy on the show.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, definitely. But yeah, him saying that if he misses an appointment because he's in jail, that means they're going to take away his food stamps. That means he can't eat. And it's just like, that sucks. And I know some people are like, oh, well, you shouldn't even be eating junk food or whatever. I don't know. I feel like it's their food stamps. They can do what they want with it. If they want to use their food stamps to eat junk food, whatever, that's what they're doing with that. Like
he was hungry and it tastes good and he never gets anything that tastes good. And that if that doesn't hit you in your heart, then I'm sorry.
And he wanted a sweet treat. Like he made it clear, like I just want something sweet, like a little dessert.
I've been eating out of the trash can all week, man. Like, I just wanted something that was good and tasted good.
Damn.
And then it makes it worse when you think about the scene when they arrested him, that the cops were having fun eating the boxes. And then I'm like, did they even pay for that themselves?
No, they didn't.
So it's just like, I don't know. I was just like, damn. These people.
This show really makes you, really paints the cops in a bad light, don't you think?
Weird. It's crazy. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought indeed, Brittany?
Oh, boy.
I think one thing I wanted to ask you guys about is we talked about Fisk and the whole mayor thing, right? Is this because he has the conversation with Vanessa where Vanessa's worried about like the gangs are starting to break down because there's a power vacuum because Fisk nor Vanessa are leading the gangs on a day-to-day basis, so they fighting for power amongst each other. And Fisk is telling her, you know, we need the chaos because it brings a greater good. I have ambitions bigger than this. So is the mayor thing just a temporary stop for Wilson Fisk in his mind?
I think so.
Absolutely, yes. He went and bunkered down and figured out a fucking plan. And this is step one in this plan. That's it. He's got lots of things, even though like he has to be instructed on how it works because he's like, I want to build this thing and it's going to do this.
Sheila's like, no, that's not how it works. You
got permit and then like practical shit. But that's somebody else's fucking problem because he is the idea man. He's the big picture man.
He's Walt Disney.
This is just tedious stuff that he has to get through for the next step in the plan. So it's all very obvious to me that this is just there's no new leaf. We're not being a good guy. We're not being a good guy. And that's fine. Because I don't want to
all that mind changing that Echo didn't stick, Jenny?
No, I don't believe so.
No. He's fake.
Mm,
as fuck. And it shows in the scene with the police chief where he,
yes.
Hmm.
Yep.
indirectly threatens his daughter or whatever, and fall in line. I mean, that
Hmm.
motherfucker fell in line just like he was supposed to, just like
Yo,
everybody else.
when he said, "I've got a new compromise,"
Mhm.
you're
You
bigger
get
pay for
nothing.
the cops, 0. More trainees, 0. Like,
0.
damn, and it's like my man had to take it. It's like either that or like your daughter is dead, and it's like,
Yep.
I got to do what I got to do.
That's crazy.
That's how it's gonna be.
Mm. Oh, on that note, Jenny, I think a thing I like in this series is just kind of the chorus we get of New Yorkers.
Oh,
Like,
in the little like
the video
BBs.
clips.
Yes,
Yeah.
Man on the street.
I really like that old man who's like, I
sounds
could be
like
a
Stan Lee.
vigilante. That old man who's like, I could be a vigilante. I love him. He's my favorite.
I always
That
walk
was
around
really-
with a piece on me.
You need kind of those little moments in the show. Those
And that lady's like, yeah,
Mhm.
Mayor Fisk, he said he was gonna have our back. He doesn't have our back. I'm like, that is some, like, yeah, that's some man on the street type of shit.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I really like all of those ones. But yeah, that one old guy who's like, I'd be a vigilante if I could. I'm like, yes, sir. He's hilarious. I love him. Every time he's in one of them, I'm like, yeah.
I have
And my
bit
man, go ahead.
a bit of an off the wall question I was kind of thinking about the
Okay.
other day, and I thought I might ask you guys. I don't know. This is just like a thought exercise, maybe.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
like, we see a lot of parallels, like we talked about. This is way too real life for us, whatever. Do
Mhm.
we see a future in our timeline where vigilantes start to exist in real life?
Yeah, I would.
Is this an
I would say.
evolution? Yeah.
I would say anything is possible. So I
Mhm.
feel like that, yeah, it is something that might eventually happen at some point if it isn't already happening that
Yeah.
we don't know about,
Mhm.
So yeah, I could definitely see that happening. Yeah, I definitely see that happening for sure. If
I
it's not
say-
already.
I say yes for two reasons. Number one, like I remember, and this was like cutesy almost quaint, Jenny. This is
Mhm.
probably like maybe 15 years ago, but I remember like stories were popping around where they were like people it's probably like in the Pacific Northwest, like
Mhm.
dressing up as superheroes and like patrolling the neighborhood. Like they had like a Timu ass Justice League. It's like, we're here talking with, what's your name? I'm Mr. Night Guardian. And it's like, like Stanley, if you don't go back to your damn day job and stop
But I
trying
mean,
to...
like legit vigilante.
So yeah, so that brings me to a second point, because I think when we talk about vigilantes, we are looking at it through the lens of heroes like Hector,
Yes.
like people that want to do the right thing.
Exactly.
I think that is something that may happen, but I think it's going to happen in opposition to the vigilantes that are already here, which are people like the Proud Boys, who are vigilantes for the
Absolutely.
negative, like the like people like that, like I forget, I think it might have been Columbus, Ohio, a few months ago, where you had all of the neo-Nazis try to like scare all these black people in this one town, and like the black people had to take up arms and try to defend themselves against these neo-Nazis. So I do think like we have militant, violent groups that want to cause division and harass people. So in that sense, we have vigilantes. We just need some good vigilantes now
Right.
to balance that out.
Yeah. It's an interesting thought.
And I mean, I wouldn't even put it past that eventually there would be people with powers. Like I
was gonna kind of go there.
I really think that it is possible. Like I know someone is probably like, okay, girl, you watching too much Marvel and Buffy and Star Wars and all that stuff. But I just feel like that there is there has to be a possibility for it. Like I'm pretty sure aliens are real, and
yes,
okay, I believe that.
Like I wouldn't be surprised if eventually, if it hasn't already happened that we don't know about, that there's going to be interspecies breeding and things like that. Like I'm sorry, I just think it's going to happen. Maybe I watch too much Doctor Who as well, but it's going to happen. Maybe I'm crazy, and but. Yeah, I mean, if I had for sure superpowers, I would be out there. Like,
hell yeah.
Honest. Now they're gonna start tracking me if they're not already. But yeah, no, if I had superpowers, I'd probably be out there doing something.
To me, it seems like just part of a human evolution, like
Okay.
eventually they're super soldier, also you could do the manufacture of superhumans, but
yeah,
just mutations, maybe something like that. And I love that you brought that up. That like really warms my heart because I was like, okay, maybe I'll just keep it street level. But
so what would your power be, Jennifer Smith? It begs the question.
Fuck, I don't know. Like, what would I choose, or what might I get? Because those are probably two different things.
What would you choose?
Useless. I think teleportation is a very interesting superpower.
Okay.
Flying, I think,
kind
of. I don't know. There's some elite one, like mind reading. I don't know if I want to do all that now. I ain't.
That's a lot.
That's a
mind
lot.
reading's a lot. I think because we kind of talked about this on the parlay, on the episode 2 of the parlay with Steve Willie and Ray Britt. I think like mind reading's a little too much, especially if you can't turn it off.
Exactly.
But I like having the power of like not being able to read people's minds, but if I could read their emotional state and then have the power of suggestion.
You're Jasper Collin. Hell yeah.
Either Jasper or I'm thinking of not Sylar on Heroes, but there was a hero on Heroes like the 1.5 seasons. It was actually good. That could like he could like kind of push is what they called it, like a mental suggestion, like hey,
influence.
Stop being racist. It's like, you know what? I'm not gonna be racist anymore. What?
Yeah, that's what Jasper Collin and the
pay people more.
Huh. I like
just
that
Jedi
one.
mind trick people all day.
Yeah. That's not bad.
Yeah, I still think that if I could choose like a existing comic character's power set, it'd probably be Carol Danvers. Just because because then I can go kick ass, go kick ass, have fun, But if I was like I could only have like one, I said I think I would pick like Luke Cage's being bulletproof. Because because then you can do
no fear. You have no fear, I guess.
Yeah.
See, here's the crazy thing about that though, Jenny, because like I thought about it, like I either like the Luke Cage or like a Hector, like you get a magic amulet that grants you strength and speed and all that, but obviously not invulnerability, as we saw. R.I.P. to the White Tiger. But I feel like if you get a power set like that, then you have to learn how to like fight. Like I can hold my own, but then you like I have to go now that I've got invulnerability. I have to go to karate class and train. It's like,
that's fun.
Ain't nobody got time to do it. I'm like Finn Jones. I'm not showing up for karate class.
Crazy. I would definitely go if I, especially if I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna work a normal job anymore. I'm just gonna like dedicate my life to doing this. I would go to karate classes. It's not like they're gonna break my arm. Who's gonna break my arm now?
I can see you in karate class. Just yes, sensei.
I'd go to Miyagi Dome.
Cobra Kai is not a bad show.
I haven't finished it, but I love the show.
You said you can't?
I can't. I did a couple seasons. I was like, I'm out. After the Rumble at the school, I was like,
okay,
I'm done.
That was it for you?
Yeah. A little bit done.
But how are you going to be ready for the next Karate Kid movie, Jenny, if you don't watch all the backstory?
I'm good. I'd rather watch Daredevil.
Yes.
Back to Daredevil. Do we have any besides Matt? Because I feel like, do you have any current favorite characters, or like I feel like Hector to me was the next one that I was like, yeah, I think that's the guy so far.
Yeah, like Hector was outside of like the main, like to me, like obviously Fisk and Murdoch, like those are kind of the two tent posts of this series, and they were back on the Netflix show too. So like, it's their show. But in terms of the supporting cast, like Hector was really cool, like a character that, like I've seen the White Tiger in comics, but I wasn't really checking for White Tiger, but like I wanted to see more of this Hector Ayala version of White Tiger, and unfortunately, we're not going to get it. But the little bit that we got was really cool. And then I like, what's his name? Cherry.
Cherry, yeah.
like Matt's sidekick kind of.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I like him. Yeah.
Like Cherry's cool. Like he's. I don't know if you've ever watched Watson, like the Watson show, Britt, with
Lucy Liu.
No, not Lucy. It's like a new show. I guess it used to be Sherlock Holmes and Watson, and then Sherlock Holmes died, and now it's just Watson. And Watson is who's the brother? It's not Morris Chestnut.
No,
Maybe it is Morris Chestnut. Is it
Oh.
Morris Chestnut?
Wait, I think it is. I think my mom watches that.
Yes. Shout out to Morris Chestnut for still getting work in 2025. Love that for him. But yeah, I think it is Morris Chestnut.
it is, yeah. He
Cool.
looks great.
Yeah, Morris Chestnut. At one point in time, he was like my pick to play Jon Stewart in live action. I think at one
like
point,
that.
like when he was like in his 20s, 30s, like I think he would have worked as Jon Stewart. But I like that on Watson, that's where I was. So you got Watson played by Morris Chestnut, and he's got like this sidekick who's like this hardened, used to be a criminal, now he's helping the good guys, but he knows all of these shady people, and he can, get Watson access to this and that. And that's what Cherry feels like. Like he's a good guy, but he's got dirty hands, and I kind of like that.
I like that too.
Yeah. Also like, is her name Kirsten?
Kirsten.
Kirsten.
Annoyingly, I mean, fuck that name. That's very yeah. But yeah, I like her too.
That's the name, the lawyer girl, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And I was like rooting for Foggy to
Her and
land
Foggy.
up. I
Yes.
know. I was like, go Foggy, go, you got this. And then he died, and I was like, damn.
I wonder if we'll get any of her grief. Because like we don't really know how close they were.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously they were going to be getting closer. So like, yeah. Ugh. I was like, damn.
That's crazy though. Everybody knew about Foggy though. Like once they realized who Matt was, like whether it's the cops or like Frank brought up Foggy, like everybody like, hey man, sorry about your boy.
It's making me sad again.
I know. Gosh.
Somebody else, like there's got to be a third shoe to drop. We lost Foggy, we lost Hector. Somebody else ain't gonna make it out of season 1.
It might be BB. I can see that.
Yeah.
Going the way of her dad. Didn't her dad get murdered?
Yeah,
as
Kingpin killed her dad.
Yeah. So I feel like
OG Daredevil.
yeah.
That was uncle.
You think it's it
Oh,
might
was
have
it
been.
uncle?
Might have been the uncle, yeah.
Yeah, I think Ben was her uncle, unless she mentioned someone else being
But
killed.
he was like a father to her, Brittany.
Yeah.
a surrogate father, if you will. But yeah, the way my man was like, you're related to Ben Ulrich. He was a good journalist, like knowing good and damn well you killed this girl's uncle.
You strangled that man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting to see kind of the balance Fisk is doing between the mayor stuff and he's still in the shady stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I was waiting for it the whole time they were in couples therapy for them because they kept calling it their business. I was waiting for them to slip or the therapist, Matt's new boo that none of us like.
I feel like she's smart enough to
slip up and say something.
She knows. Yeah.
She's smart enough to not say something, but I feel like I could be wrong and this could be like a cliche route to go. I feel like Fisk is gonna find out first that is Matt's girlfriend.
Yep, I think so too.
Yeah. And now he's gonna feel some type of way.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, damn, yeah, that's a good pull. It is cliche, but I think the two of them could have a great scene out of it.
Yes, and I feel like sometimes writers are like they try to avoid doing the cliche thing, but sometimes I'm like, if you execute it well, it doesn't matter if it's cliche because if it works,
it's a cliche
it works.
for a reason.
Exactly.
When done well.
Yes, exactly. Do you think this is probably heading into like our like predictions potentially of the show? Because he was on the show, do you think She-Hulk is going to make an appearance?
Jenny?
Now look, I like She-Hulk. A lot of people did not, but I did. but I don't think tonally it would kind of fit here.
Mhm.
Like I like the humor in the show, and I enjoy that they include it and it works, but she's a little too, I don't know, maybe bouncy for what
Okay.
we're here. I don't know. I could be way off, but if she does come in, it would have to be something quick and dirty, I think. Something in court, something like that.
Yeah, I really want to see those two in court together. Like,
Yeah,
that's like,
I would
I
like that.
need that.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was I think where in her comic, I think there was like a little like thing where they were in court against each other, and I want to say she was either representing Steve Rogers or he was.
Okay.
I can't remember what the exact case was, but he was Old Man Rogers too.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. I can't remember how that turned out, but like I just want to see them in court together at some point. I know a lot of people didn't care for the show. I was one of them because I have a lot of like there was just certain things I feel like wasn't done well, but I'm not one of those people who are like, oh my god, they had her twerking. Like, that's not the issue with the show. I'm sorry, but her twerking with Meg Thee Stallion is not the issue of that show. But yeah, any other like predictions or characters who you're thinking of might show up?
It's tough because like I enjoyed She-Hulk. Like, was it the greatest show? No, but I thought it was fun. It was cute. They did my girl Titania dirty because it was like, you're supposed to be this big bad and you went out like a punk. But I thought especially with the stuff between Jen and Matt, I think it worked. Maybe we get some Jen involvement in season 1, but I do feel like because it's 9 episodes and not 18, there's a lot of, not that She-Hulk would be fat, but it's like not necessary to the plot.
Yeah.
True.
So I think like they're gonna keep it lean. It would feel shoehorned in. Like, I think they're gonna keep the first season lean. Like, basically we're telling Matt's story parallel to Fisk's story. And there is some crossover, but the story of these two men trying to be new people, but realizing that we're still the same people that we were. In terms of people who could show up, I think, and again, this may be a shoehorn too, Jenny, but I would like to see at least 1 or 2 of the Defenders pop in. Like,
I think they probably are.
Like Jessica, I mean,
if Jessica comes, I will add yes.
I say 1 or 2, but really, there's only 1 or 2 that we would want to see. Sorry, Finn.
Yeah.
Like if Jessica or Luke show up, I think that'd be interesting. And I think Luke showing up would not be to interact with Matt, at least not initially. I think it would be to interact with Vanessa, if we are to believe that they're following the chronology of the Netflix shows. Because at the end of Luke Cage season 2, with Bushmaster, Luke Cage kind of took Cottonmouth's spot as the crime lord of Harlem. And so I'm wondering, like, is that story ever going to get picked up, or is that something they ignore whenever they come back, if they come back? But if they are sticking to that story, then I wonder if Luke is maybe one of these bosses that was kind of working with or under Vanessa while Kingpin was gone. Like, that would be fun. And then, of course, always Jessica would be great to see, but Danny, not you. Never you.
We don't need you.
Recast him, please.
Colleen could come, but not Danny. Misty too.
Yes, I agree. I get so upset when I think about Danny and Iron Fist, because I really enjoyed Danny in the comics that I've, the ones that I've read, and they just did my boy so dirty. Like, you would think that they wouldn't have an issue like adapting white male characters, because they usually don't have an issue adapting white male characters. And yet the one that I really like from the comics, they were like, we're gonna fuck this up big time. So
Finn wasn't going to karate class like you, Britt.
I feel like it wasn't even just like
it was more than Finn.
Too. I think it was unfortunately Scott Buck, because that last season of Dexter is not it. So I definitely think that it was
Iron Fist was after Iron Fist was after Inhumans, right? Or was it before?
I think they may have filmed Iron Fist first, but then like Inhumans came out first, or whatever.
I'm gonna be like, how you get another job after Inhumans, my boy? Like after that, How do you
Either
get another
way,
Marvel
I
job?
feel like both of them, regardless of which one came first, it was like, how did this man get another job?
Inhumans was so bad.
Yeah.
Like internet people, don't come to me talking about the Marvels. Don't come to me talking about Captain America: Brave New World. Don't come to me even talking about No Eternals. Go watch that damn Inhumans show right now. Right now, and tell me that those other things I mentioned are the worst of Marvel.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
But there's one character that I think could show up, even though it's a very small could, just because a certain someone is rumored to be their villain in their next movie. I think it could be Peter Parker if they're gonna do something, just because I mean these rumors might just be rumors, but it's rumored that the next villain for Spider-Man is most likely Kingpin.
Okay.
So I don't know how true that is. It could just be like people just saying stuff, and then like people are like, hey, let's post it because they'll get us engagement. But I could potentially see Spider-Man coming back, and even though Matt will not remember, I could see that being a potential, but I don't know. Just because if they really are going to make Kingpin the
next big bad
for Spidey, then I could see that. But I don't know.
I would love that. Obviously, like I'm in the tank for Tom Holland. That's my Spider-Man forever. I don't care when he turned like 45. He's still gonna be little Peter Parker on these streets, going to high school. Like, sir, you need to get your GED or something, sir. You can't be around all these children all day. But I think Spider-Man would be really cool. I just don't know. Again, like I think 18 episodes, you could do a lot more. But I don't know for the story they're telling, like where he can fit in. But it would be cool. Like it would get everybody talking.
Oh yeah. But obviously, I do think we're gonna see Matt again in the suit. That's like an obvious prediction.
How soon do you think we get it next episode, Britt?
I feel like it's got to be soon. Or unless they really are gonna wait till like the last episode for Daredevil to be born again. Because that's what we're waiting on, for him to be born again. So it could be the last episode, second to the last, but it's obviously coming. And with them announcing that Foggy is back for season 2, maybe we'll get a reveal that Foggy's actually alive and Matt didn't even know it. I feel like that's a potential. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at with the show right now. Okay. What about you?
I would agree with all that too.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like I think this has the potential, and hopefully I don't jinx it, Jenny. I think this has the potential if they can land the plane, which is always a big if with these Disney Plus shows. If they can land the plane, I think this already is going to be in the top half. More than that, like it'll be like top 3 or 4 for me in terms of the Disney Plus Marvel. Just because, again, like it's got the tone of the original, but it still works with everything else that we've got on Disney Plus. Like you can go from watching Echo to watching this and not feel like, oh, that was a big mood whiplash. Or you can go from Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Loki to this, and it's like, okay, I can see how it fits in this same universe. And then again, man, like this, they've done the trick of this is the Daredevil show. But y'all ain't gonna get no Daredevil outside of this first like 10-15 minutes, because then it's just Matt Murdock, attorney at law. That's what you gonna get.
Daredevil had to die.
Yeah, he did. He had to
but it still works.
Again.
Like there's never, like at least in these first 4 episodes, there hasn't been a point where I'm like, man, when is he gonna put on the costume and whoop somebody's ass? Like I'm along for the ride of this journey with Matt, and like again, like that scene where Nikki Torres, like the police informant who like flipped on Hector in courtroom. We ain't never forgetting that, Nikki.
Nope.
You did White Tiger dirty. But when the cops show up and like Pal and whoever, Pal keeps getting his partners effed up. Like
he did.
Your other boy died, and then the dude that you brought to rough up Nikki Torres when y'all ran up on Matt Murdock, his like elbow is now sticking out of his arm.
That was awesome.
So it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, like just seeing Matt fight, and then like he's screaming because he hadn't like fought nobody like
Lot.
that in a while. Like I have not missed the Daredevil of it all, so to speak, of the show, and I think that's a credit to the writers, but also the credit to Charlie Cox and the other actors on the show.
Oh yeah, everyone is like they're doing their thing. Which I'm very glad. Which obviously I feel like we wouldn't have to worry about Charlie or Vincent. Like they just always bring their A game. But yeah, like they're really doing it. The writers so far, it's landing really well.
I totally agree. Like even with all like because something like The Boys, the last season, because I really like that show, and then all the political shit that they did, and which that was always sort of a political show, but it just went way wild. I stopped watching it. I was like, I can't do it. But this one still got me, even though it's still doing a little bit too close to home stuff sometimes. There's enough here. There's a lot here to kind of get into. Daredevil is an amazing character. I love Charlie so much, and there's a lot of potential for a lot of cool stuff. I love that we got one of those very cool, which to me is very Daredevil series, tracking fighting shots in that first episode where they did cool stuff with like him fighting and also listening to what was happening to Foggy in the beginning. So they're doing like cool things with his abilities and keeping all that stuff like really true to him.
Finding the bullet aside.
Yeah,
And,
well,
and I think that they actually brought back the stunt coordinator from the first season.
It looks very much
on this one. And I know like when it comes to editing, because I know I've seen people talk about it. Some of the shots are edited where it's not necessarily the same as like the Netflix editing team. So I know some people say that ruins like some of the fight scenes for them, but it is still the same stunt coordinator. So it does feel like it's pretty close to the like what we got with the original show, especially the first season. So yeah, I think they've been honestly, as the most part we've said, they've nailed everything. There's obviously a couple characters, like we said, that could go, but for the most part, it's great. I kind of hope for an Elektra back at some point.
Ooh, that's a good point.
I don't know if on this season, but I would like to see the character back.
Okay.
I don't know. For me, I feel like Elektra is always going to be one of my favorites because of Jennifer Garner. And that look, I was, like I said, I was like 12, 13 when that first Daredevil movie, when that movie came out, and Jennifer Garner training along to Evanescence. Like, you guys don't understand how much that formed, like, probably my, like, personality going forward. So
that's why you want to go to karate class.
Yes. I feel like because of that movie, I'm like, ooh, yeah, sad boys who are like, I hate myself. I love it. I feel like everything is because of that movie. Like I saw that movie and I was like, yes, this is me.
Daredevil, Ben Affleck's Daredevil unlocked so many things for you.
Oh yeah, sure did. I have it on DVD still.
I think I do too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I love that movie.
I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Oh, we watch it plenty in this house.
I might put it on tonight.
Yeah, my little brother also like really, really likes that movie too. There was a point where he stole the DVD from me. So
oh wow.
Yeah. that is a movie that we like in this house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Elektra would be a good pull. Like there's a lot they could do. I think they've done a good job of setting up this current state of New York, the grounded New York, not the fanciful Avengers level New York, but just the grounded New York. And I am excited for this. Like I think again, there's been a lot of talk and narrative spun around the MCU. And I feel like there's a lot of overreaction to everything that comes out. Like everything either has to be the thing that saves Marvel or the thing that proves my point that Marvel is beyond saving. And most of these things are just movies. They're just shows. And they're different levels, they're varying levels of entertaining. Right? Like some are better than others. Some are like, oh, they could have done so much more. But like Marvel very rarely, at least in my opinion, does like absolutely terrible stuff. Like most of it is like, okay, it's on a level from okay to that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Occasionally you get like that was awesome, and occasionally you get that was terrible. But those are few and far between. Most of it is just like this amalgamous middle, Brittany, which could have been another name for this podcast. The amalgamous middle. And so like I think Daredevil to me is another kind of step in a trend of quality. Like I liked X-Men 97. I liked the Marvels, even though like a lot of people crapped on
I liked Marvels too. Obviously, I loved her show, Miss Marvel. Like
Miss Marvel was cool. Yep. What was the other one? What was the other one that I really
actually really liked Hawkeye,
Hawkeye.
Oh, Hawkeye.
Surprisingly
that was
good.
surprising for me. I enjoyed Echo.
Yes, Echo was good. Like there was some parts of Echo again that didn't quite hit for me, but for the most part, I loved like the culture and everything.
Yeah, I did too.
With that series,
and also I loved being like, "Hey, that person was in Twilight. Hey, that person was in Twilight."
Yes.
I always love talking about that.
Obviously, Brittany's favorite Daredevil and Wolverine was a smash. Like everybody loved that. I love that this is random ass inside joke from a voice message where I may or may not have been inebriated. And then of course like Cap. Like I think Cap 4 was solid. Like was it great? No. Was it terrible? No. It was just solid. I think Marvel's had this and Loki too. Loki season 2.
I feel like
Agatha was good. So I feel like the last
really good
X-Men 97. I think that the last year and a half of Marvel has been steady. Like you've had some great stuff, but there hasn't, outside of Ant-Man Quantumania, there hasn't been a stinker in the bunch. Was Thor: Love and Thunder?
Fuck that movie. Ugh.
So you had 2 stinkers.
Yeah. You know what's so frustrating about that movie is Christian Bale ate up that role.
He was good.
So much.
He was.
And then like everything else around him was just not it. And I
love that character too. They really
Christian Bale deserved better.
Taika got high on his own supply with that one. It's like, guys, people love me. I can do no wrong. Like, yes, you can do a lot of wrong, sir.
Gosh, yeah. And I'm one of the people who actually really liked Ragnarok. And so
I like Ragnarok.
So I was really hoping Love and Thunder was gonna be great, especially because like Christian Bale and that movie was just like
they brought back my girl Natalie for nothing. I know. I was like, oh, this is such a waste of Natalie Portman. It was amazing. At least she got paid.
True.
But yeah, like my larger point was like to me, Marvel's been on this steady progression from I think they bottomed out a couple years ago. Like to whatever degree Marvel can bottom out because it's still better than the alternative star. Sorry, DC. But I feel like they're slowly kind of.
But you know, DC might because you know
I'm waiting to see the Superman.
Prove me wrong. Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say Superman might be really good.
It might be. I hope it is. I hope it's good.
I hope it's so. I really honestly hope so. Because I know, like I've said a lot of stuff about DC, especially because of a certain director. But you know, I'm really rooting for Superman to do well. And I really want Peacemaker to come back. I liked Peacemaker. Like I was glad for that show. So there are some gems from DC. But yeah, I don't think Marvel. To me, I still think the best thing that Marvel has done is Winter Soldier and Black Panther. I feel like those movies are like, I know everyone likes, but Endgame, Endgame was great, but I think those other 2 movies are superior in my opinion. So yeah, I don't know if they will ever have anything on the level of those 2 movies again.
But they also had to build to those 2 movies. Like it wasn't the first one out the gate. And I feel like we're in a new phase now. Like, hooray, we're in a new phase. And so it's kind of like they got to build this phase up.
Yes, yeah. I'm looking forward to what we're going to see, honestly. Very much except for like there's a couple things that I'm still a little like I don't know, but I am in the room to be proven wrong. Like prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong with some of these like casting announcements and things. Like I want to be proven wrong. Like I want to make that very clear because I know like sometimes I'm like I'm not looking forward to this. But I want to be proven wrong. Like yeah, let me eat my words. Come on, Marvel, do it.
As long as you eat them like Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh yeah,
it's just savor
very
each morsel.
precisely.
Okay, let me give you one last theory, even though it's not going to happen. But like names are important. You don't just put a name in a script for it not to mean anything, even if it's a common last name. There was I think it was episode 3. No, might have been episode 2 or 3 in the court case with Hector. When it's after Hector's been revealed to be the White Tiger. And I did love that scene where the judge is like, yo, you told me not to bring up that this man was the White Tiger. Yeah. And Matt's like, hey, my bad, Your Honor. I had to do what I had to do, baby. I ain't know Torres was going to flip on me like that. But I loved when, they went through all the people like, White Tiger saved me and my wife. We was in a car. We couldn't get out and it was burning. He saved us. And then the lady that was getting mugged or the cop that was, trying to apprehend the suspect and almost got shot and White Tiger saved him. And Murdoch went down the list. He's like, Officer Wong, Officer Kelly, Officer this, Officer that. And then he threw down another piece of paper. He said, Officer Morales. Now, here's where my brain started working, Jennifer Smith, because Miles Morales in the comics, right? His father is named or was named Jefferson Davis. They changed his name because Jefferson Davis has antebellum connotations, so we say.
Sure does.
And in the comics, he took on Miles's mom's last name, so he became Jeff Morales. And so in my mind, I'm like, you know what? I'm not saying they gonna do it, but what if Officer Morales that was helped by the White Tiger is actually Jefferson Morales, father of Miles Morales, future Spider-Man on these streets?
I definitely think that's a possibility. I mean, we saw Spider-Verse across the universe. Is that the Across the Spider-Verse?
Across
the universe is a whole other movie.
Was that the Beatles movie?
Yeah,
the Beatles movie. Yeah.
Paul, what's this guy that looks like Spider?
We saw Prowler in it.
That was a bad Ringo impression.
Yeah.
What's this guy that looks like a spider, Paul?
Funny, oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Proceed, Brittany. It wasn't worth the interruption.
No, you're fine. But I think that there is definitely a chance because I feel like they're kind of hinting more Miles slowly in live action. Because like I said, we saw the Prowler, then the name drop of Morales. Like it has to be coming.
It's either that or an Easter egg, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe some little wink.
Like,
we'll
never use it, but we can at least throw something out.
Throw it in there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if
they know the nerds latch on to all the things.
So. Oh yeah,
and we did.
And we
sure did.
You got us, Marvel. Score 1 for Feige.
Yep.
Any last thoughts on Daredevil? Because I think we all, just from this conversation, I can tell we all really dig the show. Any final thoughts on the 4 episodes we've seen and your thoughts for the back half of Daredevil Born Again Season 1, only on Disney Plus?
I hope that Vanessa meets a very untimely end.
Wow, you were really on this.
I really don't
let's
like her.
unalive Vanessa agenda.
Yeah.
I'm not here.
I don't even know why.
Like why? Why, Jenny?
I'm just kind of over her. Like I don't know. She's not sympathetic. I mean, she's supposed to be like,
right.
Oh, my husband left me to go off and whatever the fuck, and I had to be a crying boss all this time. And I had to find a boyfriend because I was lonely. Like
he's good with his hands.
And like what? That sounds like exactly what you want to do. So what's the problem?
Yeah,
I don't know. So that is my one hope for the show. And for it to continue to be really good.
To your point, Jenny, if Vanessa does die, then that pushes Wilson even into a more villainous route.
Exactly.
Yes, I'm not one for like, hey, let's off the girlfriend for cannon fodder, all that kind of stuff.
Sounds like Jennifer Smith wants 2 girlfriends to die, or 1 wife and 1 girlfriend to die in this series.
I am
Be more interested.
in this context, I feel like I'm picking up what Ginny is putting down with this. Like I think yes, it will. If therapist, I don't remember her name.
Heather, I think.
Heather?
Okay, yeah. If Heather,
is it Heather?
I think so.
Yeah, because whenever he's got like the voice thing on his phone, Heather calling.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna push if both of their ladies go away. I think it's gonna push both of them to
a double fridging.
A double
fridging.
Well, they have that parallel thing that you talked about. They're on the similar journey.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So I feel like it's gonna bring them both back to like who they are, and that's gonna be fun.
I like that.
Yeah. I'm just excited for where it's going. I'm excited for more Frank and Matt, and maybe Frank and Karen.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a Castle shipper because their name is still their ship name is Castle with a K.
Yeah, with a K, yeah.
Yeah. I ship it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to potentially maybe that happening. But I just feel like Charlie and Vincent are just so good in their roles that just seeing them like continuously play these characters, which I know they can't do forever, but just seeing them play it while we can, like it's great till you're 90. It's great. I love it. So I'm looking just forward to seeing those, especially I don't know, I love their scenes together. So I want at least one more scene of them together.
Britney Monae. Confession time. Here's what I got.
Oh no.
I am actually, again, I may be a prisoner of the moment. And I know like an hour ago, I just said I wasn't going to state that this is better than the OG series. And I'm not going to do that, Jennifer Smith. I'm not going to state that it's better than the Netflix Daredevil. I will say that I'm enjoying it more so far, like as a whole. Just because like the original series was great, and like Cox and D'Onofrio were, not that they're not in their prime now, but they were like at the start of their prime back then. But I just feel like you've got 2 actors who know these roles inside and out, who have lived in this for damn near a decade at this point. And the show being more directly connected to the MCU as a whole, to me, that gives it a little extra oomph, a little extra razzle dazzle, as opposed to, like the days of Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, where we're talking about this incident, or we got a bootleg DVD guy selling, you want a video of that dude with the blonde hair and a hammer coming to New York? It's like just talk about him, ladies and gentlemen. Just say their names. Like I'm like Frank Castle, like say his name. Say his name. His name is Thor Odinson. But I'm really enjoying this. Like in a way, like I knew I would like it. I knew I'd like it, but I think I'm enjoying it even more than I thought I would, and connecting to characters that I didn't have any connection to previously, like particularly Hector. Like I think the Hector story in episodes 2 and 3, like it got me emotional in the way that I wasn't prepared to get emotional. And just Matt being where he's at right now, and kind of us as the viewers living this through Matt's eyes, where he's not Daredevil every episode, and he's not kicking ass and has a awesome set of nunchucks / batons. I can't quite define that weapon. But like he's just Matt Murdock, and he's a lawyer, and he's trying to fight the good fight from this avenue versus the vigilante route. And then you've got Fisk, who, has gone through this thing with Echo, and now he's doing what he thinks is good, even though we know he's not good. And he's got all of these henchmen, and poor Sheila is here, and Sheila's probably not gonna make it either, because she's like, I was here before you and Fisk, and I'll be here when you're gone. Like, no, you won't.
I was like, oh,
no, you will not, Sheila.
Not her saying that.
As soon as she said that, I was like, oh, honey,
you ain't even make it out of season 1, girl. Like it's you and
you in danger, girl.
Yeah, yes, you are.
You and Heather start filling out applications now, please. But I think this show gets what it's supposed to be. And I think maybe that's an issue some of the other Disney Plus shows have had. Like I've liked most of them, if not all of them, but I think they've kind of had to figure out what they were. But Daredevil knew what it was. it just had to come over to this side of the aisle. So I've really enjoyed it. I like it a lot, man. I mean, I think they're gonna land the plane. Like I'm saying this with my whole chest, Britney Monae. I'm confident that they're gonna land the plane.
I want them to land the plane.
Absolutely.
I think they will. Because they're doing a great job of telling these, again, parallel stories of these two men, which is the heart of this show. I don't know where Muse fits in with all of this. I don't know if Bullseye's gonna break out of jail. But I'm here for the ride.
Yeah, I'm definitely here for the ride. I want them to land the plane. I always want Marvel to land the plane. Even if like they do things that I'm like, oh, this is frustrating me. Why would you do that? I still at the end of the day want it to be better than what I was expecting. Because I know I said some stuff about Fantastic Four and
you did
Dr. Doom.
The Doom hive is on your neck for that, Brittany.
Not really. I think there's a lot of people who are just like, why?
How could you say that on Latvian Heritage Day?
Different country.
What's Doom's country? Isn't it Latveria?
Latvia.
Did I conflate Latvia with Latveria?
Yes, you did. So
the whole time, right? Okay. So I'm gonna be honest. This is an honest network here in Nefarious Media, Jennifer Smith. The whole time he talking to the hot Latvian lady, I'm like, yo, she know Dr. Doom? Is she in cahoots? Is she in cahoots with Victor Von Doom being Latvian and whatnot? I thought Latvian. Is there a whole Latvian contingency in New York City that helped elect Wilson Fisk? Is this Dr. Doom putting his finger on the scales of the politics in New York to get Wilson Fisk elected? That's where my mind went, but no, she's just from some random Eastern European country.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like Latvia I feel like is the real country, and then Latveria is Dr. Doom. The fictional. Yes. But yeah, I
thought she was Latvian.
Like, yeah.
Now that everyone's confused.
Yes. Latvia.
Yeah. So, which they have so much chemistry. Like, yes.
Yes.
But I want them to prove me wrong with the casting of Robert. Like, obviously, I know Robert Downey Jr. can act. That's not the thing. Like I said, it just felt like it felt safe. It felt boring. It felt like, okay, let's go back to who has worked already. And that's what I'm just like, oh, come on, give new people a chance. And I know that there's like the comic book storyline that some people are like, hey, this is probably what they're doing, which I get it, but I'm just like, it just feels like a little safe, which I get. Maybe they're trying to be safe because of the stinkers that they've had, or how people have kind of been like, yeah, the MCU's been okay. You know, I understand that they're trying to like do a certain thing, but I want them to prove me wrong that they're making the right decisions. But you know, with that, I'm not enthused. But with Daredevil, I'm like, yeah, I think I think Daredevil, they're doing it. They're landing the plane, I think. Yeah.
Totally agree.
Okay. Well, can we land this plane?
I think so.
Can we?
I mean, it's up. You're the one behind the controls, Cap.
That's true. I mean, if you guys are good, because I don't know, it's also later for you guys than me. But yeah, I think
Whitney's like, I can do this all day.
I could. Technically.
Anything else before we leave? I don't want to have anybody feel like they didn't get to have their voices heard on the Avengers Initiative. Which, again, I am shocked, Jennifer Smith, on this program, which is so progressive and so female friendly, that y'all just out here throwing these women in these fridges all willy nilly.
Well, look. We're equal. We want to be
equal opportunity.
So I'm just saying, I could equally hate, their characters.
That's true progress.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I like Heather. I just feel like I feel like the actress, like I said, the actress is cool, but yeah, I don't know. I don't see her lasting long.
No.
I don't know if there is a character yet that I'm officially with Matt. Then like, yeah, that for me is like an in-game ship. I don't have that yet with Matt because I feel like Matt could be a whore for a little bit. Let him be a whore. So
he's super hot. So it's totally
yeah.
He's all broody right now.
Oh my god, I love it.
That makes him hotter. But him and the Latvia lady.
Dr. Doom's daughter.
Yes, Dr. Doom's daughter.
Your name is Sheila. What's your last name? Sheila Von Doom. I don't know why I just made her Sheila as well. Like now we got two Sheilas. Writing is hard. I should have called her like Cheryl.
Cheryl, oh my god.
Cheryl Von Doom.
Ew, I don't like that. I think Sheila works better. Yeah, I don't think I have any other additional thoughts or things that we missed.
Oh, Jenny, because we Brittany and I talked about it for a second when you dipped out. When do you think we see Matt in the outfit again? Is it next episode?
So at the end of the last one, he was sort of working out, right? Like
yeah,
he was doing the things. I don't want it to be at the end. That's too far. We need to see more Daredevil things. I feel like one more thing has to happen
to push him
to get back in the suit. Like he's still he's thinking about it. He maybe wants to team up with Frank. You know,
maybe Fisk will do something,
or he needs to be maybe ready for something to happen as well. So
Heather gets thrown in the fridge, and that's the final push.
There you go.
Heck yeah.
So I'm hoping for maybe a couple of episodes of full on suit, but that might be greedy on my part.
Yeah, that's a tough one because I think, like you said, we saw him practicing on the rooftop. Like again, like my man he was in bed with Heather after they had what was the alcohol, the liquor they had, which was also that was sweet after they won Hector's case. It was like the liquor that they bought to him and Foggy back in the day to celebrate winning a court case. That was sweet. But then, they have relations, and then, Matt creeps out in the middle of the night and climbs up on the roof with his nunchuck / baton thing and just is out there practicing. At the same time, Wilson Fisk is eating a delicious meal.
While this man is screaming in the cage.
In front of Adam, like, please, Mr. Fisk. It's like, I didn't know he was in the cage. I thought, because it looked like they were like at some kind of dock, I thought he was going to be like dangling, like an old 60s Batman villain. Like, I wonder who's going to have a better meal tonight, Adam, me or the fish. Like, oh, Wilson. I think it's going to be at least one more episode. I'm with Jenny on this. I think he's going to need it. Like, he's right there. He's like, he's looking at the helmets. He's looking at the suits. He's got the gimmick out there practicing, but I don't think he's ready just yet. There's going to be one more thing.
Something needs to happen. Maybe it's Hector's niece suiting up, and he's like, wait a minute. Hold on. You need some guidance, young one. So that could be that. Or I don't know, something happens with like Muse or the whole Punisher storyline. That is going to be happening. So yeah, he's gonna be suiting up, I think, soonish. But yeah, Daredevil will be born again. It will. Because the title promises. So yeah.
It's on the label.
It is on the label.
Daredevil will return in 2 episodes.
I think those are all of my thoughts.
If you've listened to this whole show or watched this whole show and you have not watched the episodes, go back and watch the episodes because we spoiled the hell out of it. But
you sure did.
It's still enjoyable. Like, we're not going to ruin it. Like, it's still great.
Oh, I know what I wanted to say before I leave. Every time I see Vincent D'Onofrio, I always think of Men in Black, and I always think of the lady who's like, her skin is hanging off her bones. Every time I see him, I think about that, and I just needed to say that. So
that's funny.
That was my first exposure to Vincent D'Onofrio as a kid, seeing Men in Black in theaters. So
he's so great.
Yeah. Yes.
He is awesome.
When he ran it back, when him and Vanessa had the little scene after therapy, and he came back, I was like, this whole time, Jenny, I've been waiting, waiting for him to pull out that shot. He's like, Vanessa, when I was a boy, I was like, yes, yes. Tell us about when you was a boy and how bad of a father your daddy was.
Yes,
I've been waiting for this.
I know he likes that Black Parade song.
Yeah, he does.
When I was a young boy.
That's
gonna be the next thing. We'll have actually we should get those terrible singing kids from the 4th episode to sing a cover of Black Parade.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
With the Latverian choir.
Oh my God.
I literally thought she was from Latveria. Like for the whole episode, I'm like, yo, this is genius, man. They planting seeds. Dr. Doom gonna show up in New York City, and then no, she's just from Latvia. Disappointing.
Crazy. All right. Well, we did it. I guess we'll start with Brother Nate. Where can we find you on social media, sir?
Hey, all right. Let's see. I've been waiting I've been waiting my whole life for this. Ooh, I'm about to make a name for myself.
Ooh.
I did it. Ooh, that's it's always precarious bringing myself full screen because it's like I have to talk and then modulate the buttons. Ray Williams, you need to come here and do your job, sir. But yeah, like yes, if he's still listening. But yeah, this was fun as always. Always love when we're able to make time for each other and for the people. And last bit of Marvel news before I give my plugs. For everybody that was out here hating on this man, Anthony Mackie. As of this weekend, Brave New World passed $400 million on these streets.
Oh, okay.
So I think
people are still watching it.
The report, well, and that's the thing too. Am I going to be as bold as to try to bring myself out? Oh no, I'm not, because I almost opened up another window. So I'm just gonna talk, Brittany. But like there are people saying, I guess the break-even point is 425, which it has a shot of doing. But to me, it's like I'm less concerned with like, did it make this much? Did it make that much? With the fact that like it has, despite the bad reviews, despite the bad Rotten Tomatoes score, like it does seem the audience scores up to like 80% now. So it feels like the audience is resonating kind of where it should be. Like it's not top tier Marvel, but it's not bottom tier Marvel. It's Marvel. And do you want to watch Marvel right now? And I think people are vibing with Mackie and Ford, and then everything else is kind of what it is. So yeah, it's hit 400 million. It's passed like I think like 7 or 8 milestones in terms of like how they calculate this. But yeah, like I'm hoping this means like we may get a second Sam movie, because that's all I really care about with the numbers.
I do too. I think that Sam definitely deserves another movie. And I just hope that it won't be a movie that gets bogged down with trying to, I think, which I know like it's part of Marvel, like answering storylines. Did you mute me? That's crazy. I love this.
No, I didn't mute you. I just
realized what you were doing, and then I was like, wait, I love this.
For the people that are watching, they're like, why is it still stuck on Nate? And it's because Nate is not going to try to risk fucking up this thing just yet. I'm going to wait till I finish speaking, and then I'll try to get out of this. So I was doing like the ventriloquist.
Yes, no, it's great. That reminds me of Austin Powers Goldmember when Beyonce's talking and that other Nathan Lane is talking. That's what it reminds me.
Yes, when he slaps Austin Powers.
Yes, I love that. Thank you for giving my Beyonce Goldmember moment. I really like it. And Nate, you can finish talking now.
Thank you, Britney Monae. But yes, so shout out to Anthony Mackie, who also, he was on The Pivot, which is kind of a sportsy show, but if you want to hear him talk about his life and his journey as an actor, I listened to it last week, and it was really like, oh, this dude, I like this dude. Like I think he gets it, like being a celebrity / like Black celebrity, like there's levels to this, and yeah, like I want the good things for Anthony Mackie. But speaking of good things for us here at Nefarious Media, you can subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Nefarious Media Network. $5 gets you in the door for over 300 hours of audio, video. We're talking sports, we're talking pop culture, we're talking pro wrestling. We got a great show from a few days ago where we talked about this man, John Cena, Peacemaker, being a heel on these streets. We talk about the MCU.
I have a John Cena question to ask you, but it'll be off here, I think. I just have to say it so I don't forget.
Okay, just put a pin in that one. We'll remind you to talk about John Cena. But in terms of MCU, like if you're an MCU specific person, if that's your jam, all of the episodes of the AvengeHers Initiative are on the Patreon. I think there's an Endgame review on there. There's the complete series incomplete series, because we only did season 1 of the Luke Cage show, Always Forward. That's on the Patreon. And there's an episode where me and my oldest niece, Lisa, reviewed Cloak and Dagger season 1, which is just a wild time, a wild snapshot in Marvel television history when they was just doing everything and everything was cool, but nothing was connected, not really. So for more of that, hit up the Patreon. We really appreciate it. We're building something. We're now 2 months in. We're officially 2 months in. to this thing, and we're gonna keep it going. And for me personally, you can follow me on Twitter if you like, but I'm not, because F Elon Musk always. At in the number 8 MOZAIK, and on Blue Sky at Nate Mosaic 757, and on Twitter, not Twitter, IG, on IG, BLAQUE _ in the number 8. That's where you can find me, Jennifer Smith, as I walk this tightrope and try to get out of here and do the right thing like Hector Ayala. I did it. Jennifer Smith, where can people find you, my friend?
I would like to shout out my network. It is called North-South Connection. We mostly do wrestling related things, but we are doing a year-long project called NoSo 95, looking at everything that happened in 1995. So I did a live watch of Uncensored 95 recently, but we'll be covering TV, movies.
Was that the one with the King of the Road match, Jenny?
Yeah, that's my favorite match. So check out NoSo throughout the year for anything nostalgia related. There's also, I just discovered this weekend that Friday turns 30 years old in April. So that was a fun discovery. So we might be talking some movies like that very soon as well. And then as for me, you can find me on Wednesdays, usually on the NoSo. With my shows, I do a documentary review called Talking Docs. And then I do an X-Men podcast going through the original animated series and all the movies. So that is called Exposition. And I am also on a show called The Extreme Three-Way Dance, and that goes through the history of ECW. And we are just starting up with the year 2000, so we're kind of coming to the end of ECW. That is a very long-running podcast, like 6 years now. So you can start at the beginning and just learn all about ECW with us.
So you're in the TNN era now.
Yes, we've been in the TNN era for a minute, so hopefully it will be over soon. And you can find me on the socials at Jenny Position.
Yay. Thank you, Jennifer Smith. Britney Monae, what about you, my friend?
Wait, I have a quick question, Jenny. Is your 90s podcast, is it ever going to talk about Batman and Robin? Because I love talking about Batman and Robin. Any chance I get.
We could do that. We could do that.
I'm just saying.
If you would like to, you are definitely invited to.
I just love talking about Batman and Robin. So you said 90s, and I was like, hey, wait a minute.
What year did that come out? Was it 95?
98.
Oh, shoot. I think. When we do the 98, we'll do it.
Okay. Yeah. I love talking about Batman and Robin. Yes. I was on the podcast with Keith Chow, which I don't know even if he posted it yet, but I did talk about Batman and Robin with him, which would be at like Hard Knock Life. You can go check that out on platforms. But this
check
is
it out
my
for Dom, not for Keith. He's out here ducking people on these streets. I ain't forgot Keith. I hope you have the day you deserve, Keith Chow, and I mean that, brother. just threatening people.
That's crazy.
Indiscriminately on podcasts. That's not a good look.
No. This is pretty much the only podcast I do right now, though, the AvengeHers Initiative. I work too much to kind of have another podcast right now, as much as I would like to. But yeah, I have this. So you can find me on social media at Hi Britney Monae on Blue Sky, IG, Twitter, if you still use it. My app is still Twitter, which I've shown everyone pretty much at this point that you know that I literally still have the Twitter app. And I am on Tumblr, but I don't check Tumblr enough. But yeah, you can find me there. Hopefully I will be able to announce something soon, which I keep talking about it, but I just have not been told when I can say it. So when I can say it, it will be fun to say. But yeah, I think that's it. I think we're done. I think we did this. My little devils. I don't know what to call us today. I was trying to think of a Daredevil pun for us, and it didn't happen. I don't know. Well,
have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight, Brittany?
Hey, Dancing in the moonlight. Okay. Anyways.
Yes,
I
keep vamping because I have to bring you out and also bring up the.
Okay. Yeah. So until he figures out how to bring us out.
There we go.
There we go. I was gonna say, I don't know what I was gonna say, but I was
Thank you for watching and listening.
Yes, thank you for watching.
Watching and listening, or both, or whatever, or one of them, whatever you did.
And there's gonna be no music on the way out because I have to do everything in post anyway. So it's all Elon Musk's fault.
All right, freaking Elon. And well then, until next time, latest Gators.
The premature latest Gators.
Sorry,
latest Gators.
Latest.
You guys.